Alright, hello everyone. Welcome to the week 3 matchup in ODL. I'm going to be playing TBL this week. Going to be a little bit of a tricky matchup, but I also do benefit a little bit from Rain, and he has Rain as pretty much his main strategy. He has Perish Song is another thing. He has Maushold Annihilape. So a lot to look out for on his team, but I feel like I'm pretty prepared. And yeah, let's get into the team that I'm bringing this week. So we see Life Orb on Ursa just because I want to make it deal as much damage as possible with that 205 special attack, running max special attack here. And no Protect, even though Life Orb allows me to, or Calm Mind, which I was initially going to run, but I think, and no Earth Power either actually is a little interesting, but the only mon that Earth Power is really good into is his Qwil, and I can hit that from neutral very easily. He could run like Terra Steel on something theoretically, or something where Earth Power could be good for me, but I think just dealing consistent damage with Hyper Voice is better. Moonblast is a coverage option I really want in this matchup because it should OHKO Annihilape, maybe, but it does a lot of damage into it anyways. Blood Moon is very typical on Ursa, and then Vacuum Wave for priority. Depending on the Pokemon, if it's Maushold, it does half its health. If it's something like Annihilape, it can do like 15 to 20%. So it feels like a really good fourth move on this thing. 4 HP, because it puts my HP at 189, and Life Orb loses a tenth of your HP. So by doing this, I'm losing 18 HP after every attack, whereas if I were to put more in, I would be, even just 8 more, I would be losing 19 HP after every attack. So it's technically by far the best to just do this. So that's what I'm doing. Min speed because of Trick Room, and yeah, pretty standard Ursa. So let's move on to Porygon, who's a little bit different. I typically want to be running max HP on everything, except Ursa, I feel like, despite him having Politoed and Ludicolo, and both of them being very strong in Ursa, I think the main threats I want to look out for are actually Annihilape and Piloswine, because Piloswine with Ice Shard or Icicle Crash, it does underspeed me in Trick Room, so that means I want to have that good defense so I can easily tank one of those attacks, especially Ice Shard really not doing as much as you might expect it to with this defense. But Porygon is putting all of that into HP and then running max special attack as well. Trick Room as usual, Recover as usual. I'm debating between Trace and Download. He doesn't really have any ability that's too bad for me to Trace unless he leads like Annihilape over Qwil, which is a very unusual lead. So if I can trace something like Friend Guard, that's really nice on Maushold. If I can trace something like Intimidate, and he doesn't have Annihilape on the field, that's great. Swift Swim, maybe. I feel like Trace is not bad by any means, though Download could be good too, so kind of torn between that still. But Recover and Trick Room, Recover because it's a very bulky Pokemon, so getting health back is great. Trick Room to set Trick Room for my whole team, which is really necessary, and that's why I'm running it on Sinistcha as well. And then Shadow Ball is good coverage into everything besides Maushold, and Terra Blast is good coverage into everything besides Annihilape, but I'm running Terra Flying Terra Blast, which means I can hit the Masquerain if he brings it, which Masquerain actually does match up fairly well into my team. He has Annihilape, who gets hit super effectively by this Terra Blast, and Ludicolo, who gets hit super effectively by it. So Terra Flying Terra Blast does give me some pretty good coverage, and he has no resists, so it feels like a pretty solid move in Terra type to be running on this thing. And yeah, I think I might just keep Trace in case I copy Friend Guard, because I see him leading that quite a bit. Also could copy Shadow Tag, I just now realized, which would be great. It just means he can't switch. So let's move on to Sinistcha, who is a Ghost type, meaning I can't be forced to stay in with Shadow Tag, which is really nice. So pretty comfortable leading it. Trick Room is also great on this thing. And then I'm running a little bit of an unusual set with Calm Mind, Machigacha, Shadow Ball, and max special attack. So the logic behind this is that Sinistcha is really strong here, and Machigacha with that 20% burn chance is really good because it hits both targets. So if he leads like Maushold and Annihilape, I can Terra Water very safely in front of like his entire team besides Ludicolo, but then he would have to read the Terra really hard by going for like a Leaf Storm, and if that doesn't work, then, or Energy Ball or something, and if that doesn't work, then that's really bad for him. So Terra Water is a pretty safe Terra type. And then with the whopping 190 special attack stat on Sinistcha, after one Calm Mind, I OHKO a lot of his Pokemon with Shadow Ball, and Machigacha just does really good damage into his whole team, and the more damage I'm doing with Machigacha, the more damage I'm healing, which is really nice. And so I think Calm Mind's kind of good on the increasing my special defense because my defense is a little bit higher, and it's good for increasing that damage output. So I think a little bit more of an offensive Sinistra is good, though I'm still running Citrus Berry to help with that bulk because it can kind of do both in this situation, kind of be strong and bulky, which is quite nice. Moving on to a Pokemon I have not brought so far, which is Qwilfish. I think Qwilfish is actually really good here because of my opponent's Rain team. He has Overqwil and Ludicolo, but I actually counter Ludicolo very well with my Gunk Shot, and you'll see that I'm running Wide Lens because I wanted to run Gunk Shot and Thunder Wave, so I figured might as well run Aqua Tail over Liquidation, which Liquidation is much more typical because you get 5 less power for 10% more accuracy, so it's almost always worth it. Except it also has the 20% chance to drop the defense, which is typically good, but into something like Annihilape, if I get that 20% chance, it could turn it something that is a very easy live for me into a guaranteed death for me. So I really don't want to risk that. Plus, the extra bit of damage is really nice because this is 99% accurate move, and you're typically okay risking that 1% chance. So if Thunder Wave and Gunk Shot's still 88% accurate now, so it makes a lot of sense to go for that, and worth the 40 points of damage that you get from going with that over Poison Jab. And then Aqua Jet as a 4th move just because it can do a lot of damage, especially with Terra Water in the rain. And I'm running Terra Water on this and Samurott for the Aqua Jet just to really power it up in rain, and running Max Attack on both for the same reason. And then running 252 speed because I will speed tie his Overqwil. I really doubt he runs max speed Overqwil because max speed Swift Swim Overqwil is so over the top. It's so overkill because it only really works or is necessary against my Qwilfish, and he probably assumes I'm not bringing Qwilfish, I would guess, because it's only worth 4 points. So it could catch my opponent off guard for sure, and I think it's a good Pokemon. Intimidate was an option. I was considering like Intimidate and Mirror Herb to copy that 2 times attack increase from the Annihilape, but I think having more accuracy on my Gunk Shots and Thunder Waves is just really nice. I just don't have to worry about them missing as much. Gunk Shot's the only one that has a chance to miss, really. These 2 are like guaranteed now. So I feel like it's pretty good overall. And then Volbeat is a Pokemon that I kind of went back and forth with on his moveset a lot, and I'm still not 100% confident, but this is what I settled with. I think Encore is really good if he goes for something like Trick Room or Protect or Perish Song. And with Perish Song, I can taunt him before he can Perish Song, taunt him before he can follow me, or not before he can follow me on Maushold, but make it so he can't follow me again or Thunder Wave or do anything else annoying with that Maushold. I can make it so that he can't Protect in the future, can't try to reverse my Trick Room. There's a lot of good qualities to taunt. Terra Ghost is to kind of scare off the Fake Out, hopefully, though I typically don't want to click it turn 1 unless like I feel like I'm in a situation where I really need to get my attack off. Running Rain Dance because I was considering like a sunny day strategy with Tauros because it's Tauros Blaze, but I feel like playing into the rain is actually in my benefit here because although he's more of a rain team than I am, I benefit more in this matchup in my opinion from the rain, so I'm fine keeping it up. And then Trick with the Flame Orb is really for the Annihilape, but also Maushold burning it, meaning its Population Bomb does like no damage, so it can only really fulfill a supporting role, and if I taunt it, then it can't even do that, so it's really doing almost no damage, which is ideal. And then I'm running Max Fizz Def for that reason, because a Maushold does outspeed it, and actually a lot of things do outspeed it because I'm running 90 speed on it, and you'll see I'm running 90 speed on Samurott as well, and that's because with a Thunder Wave, I outspeed Maushold and everything slower, which should be his entire team besides Ludicolo with Swift Swim or Overqwil Swift Swim. And Qwilfish does Speed Tie, 252 speed over Qwil. They have the same base speed, and it's faster than Ludicolo, so it outspeeds that too, which is quite nice. And yeah, that's kind of why I'm running this FizzDef on Volbeat. And then last but not least, we have Samurott, who just running Adamant with pretty standard moveset on it. I'm running AV just because I really want that special bulk on it, particularly for Ludicolo because I am running Terra Water. I was considering changing this to Ghost, and maybe I will last minute. Maybe I will. I don't know. I don't like having an item and a Terra type that neither of which boost my damage. But I think Samurott's actually so good in this matchup that being able to switch out in front of Goth with it is great. And being able to have an immunity to like a Drain Punch from Annihilape, or being able to be neutral into Ludicolo is pretty good here. So I'm running max attack with the Aqua Jet to do a lot of damage into things in rain. Knockoff is great because it reveals their item and obviously gets rid of it, and just the more information the better. Razor Shell is really good because of the sharpness ability, and same with X-Scissor, two moves that are increased substantially in power by that. And Razor Shell in rain can do a lot of damage into his whole team. I was thinking Terra Water just to pick up some big Okos, but I think Terra Ghost might be a little bit better here. And then X-Scissor specifically for like the Ludicolo, because Ludicolo actually is a problem into my team at times. So I'm kind of over-prepared with these two Pokemon with it, or into it. So I think the team is actually pretty strong this week. I'm curious to see how he can stop it. And I feel good now that I'm running 2 Terra Ghosts. And the fact that I have a Ghost type means I can hopefully shut down that Perish Trap strategy quite well. So he should be kind of more at a loss for what to do against me. So yeah, I will see you guys in the match. Alright, hello everyone. Welcome to the match. He brought Impidimp, which is crazy. Did not expect that. I expected Pie the Swine. Yeah, let's hit him with good luck. Have fun. Impidimp is unusual. Okay, there we go. The timer's actually going now. So I feel like I'm actually not in a bad spot against this team. Trick Room feels really good here. Though Impidimp actually is, I guess, good outside of Trick Room. Maybe I like having Samurai here because it is a dark type, right? Which is pretty good. The Qwilfish feels pretty solid just because I know it outspeeds his whole team. Maybe I lead Qwilfish with Samurott or Qwilfish with Volbeat. I kind of like that. And then I want to have in the back Sinistcha probably. And Samurott. Let's try this team. He goes for Annihilape Politoed. Okay. So very interesting. I can do a lot of damage here if I wanted to. Though I think a Taunt into Politoed would be nice. And then a Thunder Wave into Annihilape could also be good. Just for the chance of things happening, and then I don't boost his attack as well. Aqua Tail is obviously great. With a Terra Water, I don't quite kill, depending on his investment. I think I should probably just rip an Aqua Tail though, and then I like Taunt. No, maybe I Trick on Annihilape. And how much do I do into Politoed? Okay, let me Thunder Wave Politoed and Trick into Annihilape. It is Protect on Annihilape. Okay, so I Trick the Flame Orb, which is great. I Thunder Wave, which unsuccessfully, but he U-turns. So now he does have the Flame Orb, but he's not burned just yet. And Safety Goggles is weird. I'll guess for Rage Powder on Sinistcha. I'm actually not running Rage Powder on Sinistcha. So that's pretty interesting that he was prepared for it. And then Ludicolo does come out, but I outspeed Ludicolo. So I can Gunk Shot here and then Encore him into Protect. And so he's going to hopefully, or it would be smart for him to switch out Politoed here. But Gunk Shot into Ludicolo is pretty good. It does okay. Okay, so, and what Terra is he on it? He Fake Outs. Interesting. Well, Ludicolo just dies. So this is actually a good turn for me. And Weather Ball does not kill, so that's good. I'm in a pretty good spot. And also, again, I'm max Fizdef on Volbeat, so I didn't even have any special investment, and still puts me in that good situation. I think Thunder Wave Politoed does make sense, but maybe he protects it. He's going to be burned at the end of the turn, so maybe he U-turns again, is my thought process. So I can Aqua Tail into it pretty safely, because he doesn't want to Protect here if he has Protect. And then I'm fine with Volbeat going down here, honestly. I could learn Politoed's item, too. Let me learn his item. I think that's valuable. So he's Citrus Berry, so I eat it immediately, which is hilarious. Annihilape takes almost nothing, so that's a very physically bulky Annihilape. And he does go for U-turn. So it is quite physically bulky, good to know. And then Maushold comes out, and Weather Ball into the... Wow, that's very interesting. He goes into Qwilfish. He actually would have killed here. I think makes a lot of sense to target into the Maushold, but maybe he's expecting that. Okay. I'm in a weird spot here. I don't know exactly what to do. I want to attack in the Maushold, but it feels too tempting. So maybe I Gunk Shot and Taunt. I feel like this is a pretty safe play, because I doubt he goes for Pop Bomb. Yeah, I doubt he goes for Pop Bomb here. He can't use Switcheroo. Perfect. He wanted to use Switcheroo. So now it is a Taunt on Maushold, even though I can't, unfortunately, Encore him. I can set up Samurai here pretty safely. And this means Aqua Tail, I outspeed and kill, right? I can also Aqua Jet into it. And that picks up a guaranteed kill. Or I could knock off into the Politoed. I think having a guaranteed kill here is really nice. But he could protect, right? Oh, but he's taunted, so he can't protect. So double into this makes so much sense. Because I outspeed and kill him. Even if he switches into Annihilape, he's dead. So this is actually a great play, I think. I don't know if there's a counter to this play. Also, it'll let me know how much Aqua Jet does. Okay, he does switch, in fact. I don't quite kill, but that's okay, because Aqua Tail picks up the kill. And then Weather Ball, and I live, because I already kind of knew I lived, but... So, unfortunately, I lose my speed advantage, but I can Thunder Wave into Maushold. And then Samurai here is in a good spot to pick up some big damage. Politoed feels like really bad here. And I should have the slowest Pokemon in the back. It's hard to say, though. I think Thunder Wave is good. Or maybe Aqua Jet. Maybe I Aqua Jet to break Sash. And then Razor Shell should always kill Maushold. And he goes for Follow Me, which is fine. Weather Ball does pick up the kill, but it gives me a free switch in, and so this game should be guaranteed over. I don't think he can do anything. So Matcha Gotcha, and then Razor Shell is fine just to not reveal anything. Because I don't think he can kill, so. He's going to live this. He goes for Perish Song. But he has no forms of recovering, and I burn him anyways, which is hilarious. So I already revealed Aqua Jet. But might as well go for it, right? Yeah, he's going to die before Perish Song can even have a chance to go off. But we'll give Samurott the kill, right? Or Samurott's going to get the kill. So, nice. Okay, overall, pretty well played game one, I would say. I also think it's great because I did not use arguably my two best Pokemon at all. So, I feel like I'm in a pretty good spot going into game two because I just proved that I can beat him without using Trick Room at all game. So, he now has to really worry for Qwilfish, which is not a Pokemon he thought he would have to worry about. So, I will also say that it didn't feel like Volbeat was ever like stuck not doing anything. It felt like maybe his move was not obvious at times, but never felt bad on the field. So I think Sinistra's a pretty good lead, even though Ice Beam is an option. How much would Ice Beam do, theoretically? Okay, well, that's assuming it's a bulky Politoed. But it should live no matter what, unless like Ludicolo was brought. So I think Sinistra Qwilfish isn't bad. The only problem is, like, if I'm getting up Trick Room, I don't want Sinistra or Qwilfish on the field, and I don't really want a Thunder Wave. I like Sinistra, though, and the lead. I could run, like, a hard Trick Room lead. I like Samurott, too. Maybe I just lead these two, though, then get up hard Trick Room, and then Ursa in the back, and then I really like Samurott in the back, too. So it is a Annihilape Maushold lead, which is not unexpected. But I traced the Defiant, too, which is kind of funny, but I don't trace the Friend Guard, which kind of sucks. I would have loved to go for that. And here, I can comfortably get up Trick Room with either Pokemon. I almost clicked Trick Room twice, but I think a Terra Blast into the Maushold is not bad either. Matcha Gotcha is not bad. Calm Mind is not bad. Maybe I Calm Mind Trick Room. I think that makes a lot of sense. Oh. I don't think he can kill. Oh, he might beat up, though. He might beat up. And that's the only concern. I could switch into Ursa if I want to be, like, a crazy person. Let's Machagacha Trick Room. Machagacha Trick Room. He also might Drain Punch, right? But he protects. He Final Gambits? What the hell is he thinking? That's a bad play for him. That's his best Pokemon for one of mine. I don't think that makes a lot of sense at all. Maybe I'm wrong because he stopped Trick Room from getting up because I went for a weird play. But I think that's a bad play on his part. And Goth comes out, but I have a Terra Ghost and a actual Ghost. So I can Trick Room very comfortably. And then I can... I think Terra Ghost is not bad here, just because that way I'm immune to both of his Pop Bombs, right? And then knock off into Goth. He switches into Politoed, actually. So maybe not the greatest play for me. But he goes for Fake Out, which actually means it is a great play for me, because I Oko Gothitelle. Wow! I Oko Gothitelle and get up Trick Room. So all of a sudden, I'm just completely in the driver's seat. And yeah, he says GG in the chat. I don't know if it is, in fact, but I think Machagacha is definitely the play here, unless he goes for a double. He could go for a double protect, so Calm Mind actually wouldn't be bad here. And then Razor Shell and a Maushold I think makes a lot of sense. He Terra Grasses, okay. So that means I can Oko Politoed now. And Politoed goes for Weather Ball, which doesn't even do half. And now I very easily kill with Shadow Ball and X-Scissor. Cool. So that was a much better game. Game 2. I was not expecting the Final Gambit. I think Final Gambit Annihilape is a mistake when Annihilape is a 20-point Pokemon. Even though it's not bad in theory. Usually whoever you're trading Annihilape for is not worth the trade, just because, like, I have 2 Trick Room setters on the field. If I just gone for Trick Room on Sinistra turn 1, instead of wasting my attack, I think the game's over even faster. So I think that was a little bit of a mistake, but I feel good about that set, and we're actually going to be doing an interview with TBL now, so I'll see you guys there. Alright, hello everyone, we are joined by TBL. We're going to be kind of just talking about the match a little bit. Here is his Pokepaste, here's mine. We're going to be just kind of talking about the match a little. What were you thinking going into the match?
I was really scared of Trick Room Ursaluna. We know it's a menace to deal with.
I was surprised I didn't even bring it out, actually. I didn't bring it game 1, obviously. Game 2, I did have it in the back, and that was the one Pokemon I didn't reveal. Felt like it would have been in a good situation. I also ditched Earth Power because I thought it's only good into your Overqwil, and you didn't end up bringing Overqwil, so that was kind of nice that it didn't bite me.
I didn't have an insane matchup in the fight, so I preferred to bring Impedimp with the Light Screen.
I really did not expect an Impedimp Ring here. I think Light Screen is pretty solid into my team, but as we saw, like, Samurott was able to put in a lot of work. And then Qwilfish, I was so glad that I was able to make Qwilfish shine that game 1, because I actually revealed all its moves, but I thought it was a funny set on Qwilfish. I think that your team feels like it doesn't need rain necessarily, but like it's much better in rain. So for like having 2 Pokemon on my team that work really well in rain, it meant that I had a pretty good matchup, in my opinion.
Yeah, I really underestimated them. The combo of Volbeat and Qwilfish, I did not expect at all.
Yeah, that's why I was hoping I could get Qwilfish to be good here, because I wouldn't have expected my opponent to bring Qwilfish if they had it either. So that's why I like having a budget Pokemon that can shine in like this matchup. And realistically, maybe I bring it once again the rest of the season, right? Including playoffs, I maybe bring it once again. But this is a good matchup for it, so I'm glad I was able to make it work.
Maybe once again on the rain team matchup. I know there's another rain team.
Yeah, like it's just really good into opposing rain teams, and it also outsped Ludicolo, which is huge, because even if you were max speed Ludicolo, I do outspeed you still, and I have nobody else on my team that outspeeds max speed Ludicolo in rain, obviously, because that's crazy fast.
No, yeah, obviously.
Choice Scarf Maushold was also interesting. I was not expecting that.
It was to switch out the Ursa Luna or one Trick Room setter to.
Oh yeah, a Trick Room setter. Yeah, because then I'm like,
Trick Room.
I'm forced to click Trick Room or switch out. So I'm gonna switch out, but then like I can't really bring it back in because in Trick Room it's way too slow, but out of Trick Room it's also way too slow. Yeah, it would put me like the worst speed tier possible. I like that idea a lot on Maushold. I think when you went for it, game, was it? Did you go for it game 1? Yes, you went for it right when I taunted. So I was hoping that you would go for a follow me or like a thunder wave, or maybe I wasn't even considering a switcheroo, but yeah, I'm glad that I just thought taunt would be good generally into Maushold because it wants to be more of a supportive Pokemon, and so if it can't click any supporting moves, then it's in a much worse spot. And then also the final gambit on Annihilape. I just want to like what was the thought process with that?
Safety Goggles final gambit was the only way I could kill the P2 before I set up Trick Room. If you went for what's the Rage Powder on Signature.
Yeah, that's fair. I think the safety goggles was good, but because I was able to like learn about it game 1, it made me like play a little differently. I also game 2, I was thinking about clicking Trick Room, Sinistra, and maybe like Terra Flying, Terra Blast, or maybe I was considering, I would have done that if I traced the friend guard from Maushold, but I traced Defiant instead. So I was considering clicking Calm Mind Trick Room as well, which would have been a better play than the one I did. It was just Machagacha Trick Room. But I still feel like the final gambit there, like Annihilape is your best Pokemon, so like sacrificing your best Pokemon for like a top 3 Pokemon for me, like you could say Porygon is like maybe my best Pokemon, but he's probably like tied with Sinistra, and Ursaluna's like the scariest, obviously. So I think that trade was kind of in my favor. Though I get like if you can stop Trick Room that turn, and then in the future on future turns you're able to like kill Sinistra too, or like on turn 2 you can kill Sinistra or taunt Sinistra, then yeah, I do understand that. But did you have? You did have Gothitelle, but you went for Fake Out into Samurai instead of if you had gone for taunt into Sinistra, well, you wouldn't have outsped though. What was your Terra type? You were Terra Ghost. Why Terra Ghost on Goth?
I think I should have went with Dark. I don't know.
Yeah, it's all good.
To be fair, to be fair, I don't know. I was scared of no, I know. I was scared of Tauros.
Oh yeah, but I wouldn't be clicking
would,
what move would I be clicking that Ghost helps with? Close combat into your Psychic type?
Yeah. That's kind of dumb for me.
It's all good. I think if that were Terra Dark Gothitelle and you clicked Taunt into Sinistra, I would have been in a pretty rough spot because your Maushold had just clicked Protect, so he kind of had to switch, right, into Politoed, or into whoever. Your last Pokemon was... No, actually, he had to switch into Politoed if he didn't want to just keep clicking Protect. But you meant Goth would have lived that, and you could have taunted Sinistra, and then Sinistra can, like, go for Shadow Ball, theoretically, but you can play around it better, basically. Terra Grass Politoed wasn't bad, but I was running X-Scissor on Samurott, specifically for Ludicolo and Terra Grass Politoed. That was why I was running X-Scissor. So it felt good that you had Terra Grass on it.
Yeah, no, but it's the same problem as every week. There's so many things to think about in VGC.
Yeah. That's why I think my strategy has been to like just kind of call out what you're not going to bring or click. So you have 2 Fake Out users here who both ran Fake Out, but I called, okay, it's not worth running like Covert Cloak on anything this week. I'll run Terra Ghost Samurott, which, by the way, I switched last second. You can see in the video when I switched it. I switched it from Terra Water to Terra Ghost, and that helped so much because it meant I got a free Oko and a Goth. So, and I was mainly clicking that for Maushold Population Bomb, not for a attack from Goth or a Fake Out from Goth. I kind of neglected the Fake Out from Goth that turn. But I also wasn't expecting Choice Scarf Maushold. Did Choice Scarf Maushold outspeed Qwilfish and Rain or no? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Yeah, because it'd be 180, meaning that turns into, what, 270? And Qwilfish is...
Yeah, I'm at 278, 268.
268 with Scarf? Okay, I think Qwilfish was 272, I believe. Yeah, he was. Yeah. So I would have actually outsped still. Yeah, Qwilfish was on Demon Time this week. So glad I can make it shine. And you know what? I think your team is not bad. It just feels like you've had to play a lot of bad matchups so far. Last week, you had to play Araquanid, who's obviously amazing in Rain. This week, you had to play me, who's like a pseudo-Rain team, because I have Qwilfish and Samurott, who are great in Rain, and I have Sinistcha, who benefits from Rain, because like its fire weakness is neutralized pretty much, or weakened, and Volbeat, obviously, as well. Benefits from the decreased fire damage.
Your team is really good in Rain. So.
Yeah, so I think it's not necessarily a problem with your team. I think hopefully in future weeks that'll balance out a little. But yeah, thank you for the matches. I think it was a pretty fun set, and we both had quite a few surprises.
Good. Yeah.
Any final thoughts before?
No, nothing I'm thinking about.
All right, well, thanks for joining us, and good luck in your Week 4 matchup.
Pleasure. Thank you.
All right. So yeah, I think I played very well overall. I was pretty proud of that performance, especially that Game 3 performance. I made a few big plays, especially I think this turn 2, where I go for the Terra Ghost into the Fake Out, which I wasn't even expecting a Fake Out necessarily. But it means I OHKO and get up free Trick Room, which is really nice. And that just put me in immediately a position where it's just over. So I felt like I could not have played a whole lot better Game 2, except for I wasn't expecting the final Gambit. That Sinistcha's move was wasted. Other than that, Game 1 felt pretty good, especially with Qwilfish. So I'm pretty proud of that performance, and hopefully we can get another win in Week 4. But as of right now, your Ursa Major is 2-1, so we have a winning record. See you guys in Week 4, and hopefully we can get another win.